Hey gang, 100 years of friendship, 100 years since the last revolution, 100 years for most civilizations, and 100 years represents the age mark that most humans hope they'll live to. Well, guess what tonight is? It's 100 episodes of the UnPanderers. Join us. We're going to celebrate together.
Every
in a
episode.
Time loop.
So I'm Dan.
And I'm Nick, folks.
We're old friends dissecting one topic at a time. People, technology, media, we've got it all covered.
Each discussion here is a deep dive into our unique perspective. The taboo, forbidden subjects, they're all on the chopping block, baby. We don't pander to popular opinion. We might even get a little bit dirty.
Warning, this podcast may contain mature language and sexual content and is for infotainment purposes only.
So join us. Have a good time.
Open up your ear holes, because we're going to fondle your follicles. Alright, so we're going to do something a little different here after our 100th episode. It's been a while. I think we started this, what is it now? It's almost March 2019. And it was a hurricane, so that was September of 2017.
About a year, 4 months, 5 months.
It's a little more than that, like almost a year and a half.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's kind of a crazy thing to think about.
It's weird. Did you buy me anything?
What was I supposed to?
I mean, you didn't have to. It's not a big deal, but it's a year and a half. I thought it was a big thing to you. But
I mean, I did buy you some things. Some things for you to think.
things.
So we're gonna let's see if I can get this going here.
What are you gonna do?
This is episode 26, an episode called Time. We just talked about time.
I remember that episode. Yeah, we talked about time.
Yeah. Some
How it's
decent sound.
physical and manifested, and it was a weird episode. I remember it.
We'll look back.
I remember it like it was yesterday. Very familiar episode.
Let's see how this goes. So this is oh my. Let's see how I can just pull this up here, and then
So I'm Dan.
I think that's us, man.
And we, as together, as a duo, that's how we should do episodes. Form. Always in perfect unison.
Yeah, the synchrony.
So beyond panderers.
I
love that intro. That was even better. That's us,
yeah.
And if you're listening, on
panderers.
Our first bumper.
First thing is like the video is like the way I'm inserting myself into the video.
Yeah,
I think that was the only option I had, like left or right. Like I could pick like a corner or a side.
Overlaying yourself onto it.
Winter hit, and they had.
We didn't have a logo at this time.
They'll be back.
No,
we didn't.
Didn't have the eyeball. I don't even think we had
well,
OBS, open broadcasting software.
Oh yeah, that was before that.
Conversational podcast.
It was before I had this
idea.
This camera.
Before,
this microphone, actually.
Yeah, before I had this microphone, I had a Meteor, which wasn't that great. I have 3 cameras now. I had 1, maybe 2 at the time.
When you open your eyes,
Oh yeah.
and it's quieter than it should be. You just know before you even look that snow is everywhere. Like this podcast, except with I still like some of the stuff we talk about. Like I don't know if anyone watches these episodes. It's like I'm gonna skip time because they talk about time again on the 100th. You might want to go back and check out time. You smile anyway. You wake up and you can see the light everywhere. You gotta be 18, you can, like really wake up. Aren't ours?
Yeah.
Can't sue us. I'm serious, but it just snowed near us. Unemploy us. About that, employers. So try it. They called out school. Follow this. They called out school. Snow emergency yesterday.
Yeah.
I love it.
No, 2 days ago. No, yesterday.
Where did we?
Well, I drove to work
a little while.
by 9 a.m.
Nobody
It
did.
hadn't started snowing yet. It didn't even start.
Oh, they called it off before it even snowed?
Yeah, and I was like, this is surreal. I'm driving to work on a school day where everyone's off for snow, and it hasn't even snowed, and it's 9:01 or whatever.
Push their buttons.
Tell my boss I was late.
Yeah,
Yes,
like the
I was
women.
supposed to be in by 9. I was in by 9.
How would you
Uh-huh.
rate the 3 games we played?
Are they watching you? Watching your time?
Destiny 2, Dead by Daylight.
Well, I mean,
maybe a third game.
Forest.
Oh, the Forest. That wasn't bad.
so everyone's late to work at my job.
To it, but it was very basic.
No one cares about getting in on time?
Dead by Daylight.
No,
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
It's
The
commission.
last time we played it, it was just like missing
Yeah,
something.
who cares?
It was.
So
missing,
the
like, the
manager
scene,
of
like
the
the jumping
managers
through the doorway
had
to
to,
be like,
he came in at like 9:05.
Get
And
the
a
killer.
customer
They
was there, and he had to help them.
Yeah. And then,
Oh no! Did he get so
So
mad?
hold on. He got real mad because no other sales reps came in, and not even the administration person came in.
Very hollow.
So he reamed her out and made her cry, and he yelled at some other people. So whatever. He's a person with a tiny.
Broke it down.
Views.
What's another word for
You want
wiener?
to hear something
Oh,
terrifying?
view of
Talk
life.
to Dylan.
Anyway, he's got a tiny view of life.
Let's do a video game.
Anyway,
Call
he,
it Smirk Smile. I don't know. I wasn't even planning on going here, but
Someone
I today.
the administration
He plays
girl, she was like,
Destiny,
"Can you
and,
tell
his
him
problem
someone's
is he
here to
never
see
gets
him?" And I was like,
people
"I don't
really
care.
join
I'll
him.
tell him." So I go back. I tell him
He
he's got
needs
2
to do
people
like a
in his
nightfall
office.
or a raid
I didn't
or
see
whatever.
him.
He just needs
I was
people.
like, "All right, no big deal. Here they are.
Just like,
All right, see ya."
you know,
He goes,
he'll invite
"Hey,
people
Nick."
and then write
And I was
something like,
"Yeah,
"Hey, I'm
what?"
just trying to
He's
do a
like,
raid real quick."
"It's 9.
or whatever.
And they're
And
like,
I
"Have
was
you done
like-
it before?" And then like, no.
No,
he
it's
doesn't
like
get any
2.
response.
And he was like, "No, it's 9."
Little
Their boss.
help him.
And I was
And
like,
I thought,
"The
that's
code
crazy.
to the
And I was
conference room? You want me to get
What
the
if I
guy
was
in?"
16,
And he goes, "We get here at
17,
9."
somewhere in that range, playing this game.
Because you were like,
I was like,
oh,
you
because
got
it's
me.
9.
Oh,
You got it at
Mr.
9:01.
Big Shot.
What was your
Oh,
actual
you
time?
Situation and like
It was like
capitalization.
9:15.
Can you help me with a raid real quick?
But like,
I'd be like,
who
I'd be
does
like,
that?
Is this dude?
You wish you could have quit right
Unannounced.
there.
No,
And
I
I
wish I
kinda
could have said, "Oh my
feel
god, I
bad
heard
on
you
the
had to
phone,
take care of
and
a
he was like-
customer. That must have been terrible."
And I was like, oh my god. I mean, maybe.
Oh my god,
all
imagine
these
if you had to
people are
do that
"Look at the old
full
dude."
time. Oh my
I know, oh
god.
god. Like, you wouldn't know, would you?
Anyway, really, I had to get that off my chest.
I mean,
An old person doesn't know they're old.
But what are we talking
That's
about
true.
here in these episodes?
Do you think
It's
there
a-
are ways you don't know you're
It's a
old?
different way
I
to
think
do
I'm
an
still
episode.
like 25 in my mind. Like,
Yeah.
I'm
So we had a
college,
different
but-
format here. So we would have.
Did you like it or didn't you like
Find
it?
you online.
There
you
are
know.
pieces of comedy that come out of the way we did
They,
things that
yeah,
was
they
very
do.
relevant to us.
Yeah, they'd be like,
I agree.
Yep.
But I think you get
Get
kind
away
of
from the
stale
free
on
throw.
the relevant
We've
to
looked at
us
his
type of
YouTube
stuff.
Channel. We've seen all his websites.
Because you have a
We've
story
seen-
that might
We've
come up
seen-
like
we've seen his
that,
history. We know what this guy's into.
which I genuinely like.
We could
but
see his,
maybe once a month.
passwords written on
If we're
the-
recording episodes
piece of
twice a
paper next
week,
to him because there's a reflection in the room somewhere.
it doesn't translate
I mean,
every
we wouldn't
week.
know, so that's kind of weird. Maybe we're already old.
So we had
Yeah,
what?
we're
Smirk or
already
Smile?
left out of things.
Yeah,
Passing by.
Smirker Smiles. We had
Yeah, I look at
letters
my-
from the editor,
my
or
son
like letters from
very
the
young.
the
From the
public.
crowd.
He's a toddler.
A lot of letters.
Corrections.
He just enjoys everything so much.
Corrections from the last
And it's just
episode. We did
amazing
tongue
that
twister. We
he
did
enjoys these
Word of the
little
day.
celebrity
all the time.
challenge.
And here's
Celebrity
my
challenge.
challenge.
Go for the day.
Is that I let him run.
Would you
wild and
rather?
free,
Oh,
with the nude.
scenario.
I was like,
oh
yeah,
my
no
god,
diaper,
some good
just
scenarios.
Run, do the first thing you want to do.
Is that you?
No, I don't
the
think
first
so.
thing he did was went to the softest
Anyway, we
stuffed
are
animal that he has, and he rubbed his body all over it.
Oh,
I'm talking about my son.
Yeah, it was a giraffe.
Physical pervert.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
you're
the giraffe.
son.
Ride the
You still
giraffe.
ride
Yeah.
that giraffe?
Taking
Grabbed
that
it by the
long
ears.
neck to Gravy Town. Right?
Yeah.
Stan?
He was like, I think he's more
He looks
direct
back,
now
He's gonna hear about this, and
because he
Yeah.
he was running around.
Opens the
Yeah,
giraffe's mouth and just goes to town.
So
he was
yeah.
running around
I
naked
feel like
today,
I have
and he was like
the
pulling at his
adult
penis, just
mind,
like, look my
which is the
penis, and I'm
mature
like,
mind. I have the
Hey,
childlike
I
mind, and
can't
then I
get
have
my
the
kid to stop
It's
pulling
over-
on that.
yeah, it's over
Like,
here.
it's gonna.
left. I guess
which one?
I
looks
want to start a
adult?
rumor that it's gonna fall off.
This is
Now I know
there's
where those
3 of them.
rumors
I
start
didn't-
from.
This is only 3 of them. Don't
Who
Who
mind.
started that? Everyone started
It's
that.
the trihemisphere.
You won't stop pulling.
And
on it.
so when he grabbed the tremisphere, when he grabbed that giraffe, I just thought, like, he had it right by the ears, and I just thought, deep throat.
I was afraid to say it. I was afraid to say deep throat because it's a
Well, I guess
pedophilic.
we were
type of thing.
new to the thing. We didn't know if we were gonna curse. We didn't know.
We're gonna
That's
get
true.
We don't know.
Yep.
Is this
They
gonna
don't-
be a cursing podcast? Oh my
Pervert
god,
channel.
they curse.
Well,
Had
and
the
it's
same
funny 'cause
cup.
I don't.
You know, but
Is it the same?
It's the
cup?
same cup.
Oh, nice shirt.
Well,
That's
whoever,
great.
what I
That's
was
a nice
wearing
shirt
back
you
then
got
was
there.
Really stupid.
Did you
Yeah.
try to climb that pole, but it was greased and you fell off?
You just showed it off.
what a
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
That's the day after.
I did have headphones on though that made my stupid ass hair
still
go
a little
all
in
awry
disbelief.
and
What's funny is,
What's
I could
funny,
do a whole
Nick?
hour on this subject.
You could do a whole hour on time.
Football is kind of.
I think we still
like,
could.
not really, but like it's ingrained everywhere else I go, so I pay attention to it. Nice nose job there.
Oh, just leave it. Yeah, you got.
Right on the mic, I like that. No, on the mic. But I'm used to them
Slug.
losing. I almost enjoy them losing.
It's funny because
I
like
being
now that we
friends
do
with
these all the
losers.
time, it's
Like,
like back
well, like,
here. This was like us finding
then your
our groove,
fandom is
right?
more
like,
real,
kind of
I
figuring out
feel
what we're gonna do.
feel
like
like
no one's
Buffalo.
like,
Yeah.
no one's like, I'm
There's a
gonna
level
be
of
the Eagles
awkwardness
fan,
that
like,
goes
an
away,
outsider,
and
like,
then
I
you
can't
kind of
wait.
have better
You know what I mean?
thoughts, train of
Like,
thought, and it kind of
those are-
continues
like,
on.
no
Yes.
faking
I
being
still
Eagles
miss
fans.
That's
some
what
of
they're
the
talking about in the
things
locker
that
room.
we
They're
left on
talking
the
about Eagles
wayside in
fans
these
and
kind of
how shitty
episodes.
they
Like
are
there's a
because they
Of course.
there's
Oh
a
yeah.
cute
shit on people.
funness
Like
to the
almost
awkwardness a
literally,
little
they throw
bit.
shit
You know
at
what I mean?
people. It might actually
Little
be
bit,
shit.
little
around.
Yeah.
A little bit.
It might not be as good for
extremely
podcasting
passionate, but they
every week.
they're
but
so used to
it's-
not winning that it's almost like a badge of honor.
See, I feel like I don't
it's
know
almost
what we're
like
talking about,
I'm
even
such a
though like if I
person
listened
any
in,
of
I
your
could be
fan
like,
bases.
oh, I get that, but like you have no,
It's the feeling.
like we're talking about time.
Because I mean, most people have a championship or two or three or.
Have the Eagles won any
We're
championship?
talking about Philadelphia sports.
Yeah.
They won in
sports for an
1948,
hour. And
1949,
exactly.
60.
Ironically, I bet
They're
you
a
I
good
was
team,
talking
but
about
they
I
didn't
could talk
change
about
the
Philadelphia
Super Bowl
sports
till
for an hour.
62,
Super
I
Bowl.
think. So
Okay.
they were 2 years early. And they haven't won
This
since.
is before we won.
So in terms of
And you felt
I
it coming?
change
Did you
victory?
feel it coming?
Oh,
Phillies,
I don't know.
08, and before that was 83, the Sixers.
Sixers,
You-
and then Flyers.
No,
and
I'm
then
going over all the victories right here.
Yeah.
So
Well, and there's an 80. I think the Phillies won
I
in
gotta
80.
change. I changed my drapes too.
They got-
A nice red.
Did you?
One every
Nice,
10
nice
years.
job.
Did you break it down?
I changed my guitar. If you notice, it's
And
Yeah.
actually,
to the
time.
left.
Not
or
really.
Mine
Or
is
yeah.
now over here.
Per sport, it's probably
Trash.
1 40.
My first
Anyway,
guitar, I
so
had
you
that
get
when
to
I
see
was
one
in
in
like
your
7th
lifetime.
grade.
Well,
Wait,
I
that
guess.
was
Maybe.
It's like 7th
Maybe.
grade.
I've
What's
been-
interesting is
Yeah. I remember the
You
first thing I
won
did is like
yesterday.
pretended to play it
That's
while
a
I
good
lifted it
feeling.
up and I had
You
a
love
fan
the
on
game.
and it
I
hit
love
the
everything
neck
about
of the
it.
guitar and I was like, oh,
but
oh. And then like I looked at it, it was like a little chip and I was like,
everything
oh, this
feels
is
like
okay.
it lasts longer.
Over time
Like
it
when
would
Catch-22
warp and
Gun
bend
Bar
so
says
that
to
was
you,
unplayable.
You love being bored because it makes the time go
A
by so
relic.
slowly.
Sort of like your wiener,
Everything.
right?
So
Ah,
he never wants to be too
unusable.
excited because then before he does
Unfeeling,
it,
unkind.
or a year later, or a
Chip
dozen
and bend
years
and
later.
hit a fan.
So if you leave
She
like a
shriveled
fully
away from him
fan
like
was
his
it,
own
like
penis
you
shriveled away from women of the
you just want to
sexiest,
constantly be
the
bored.
sexiest kind.
This way the time.
Yeah, but
goes
ironically,
by
it was an actual
staring
fan
at a
back then.
wall.
Now it was a real fan, right?
And what's
It's not
interesting
with
is
my
that
Pander
this
fan?
Eagles
Is that what you're saying?
postseason is
I
going
have
quicker
no
than
idea where
any
you're going with a
postseason
fan of a
you ever
fan.
remember. Like
No,
I
I'm
meant to
fan
watch
of
a
the
game,
show.
but I
Oh,
Umper.
umped
Do you
an
know this
umper.
is the episode
Well,
where
you
we
should.
announced
Because they were
umpers?
good games.
Did we really?
Like, now,
Yeah,
I
it was
almost
in the
picture
very beginning.
Eagles
We said if you're a fan
winning
of the
this
show,
game,
you're
and it's
actually
not like I
an
went out
umper.
and raised holy hell.
So I couldn't. I could
6
barely
years
read
ago,
the
I wasn't
watermark,
out,
so
for all
I
the
was
people
hard to
who
go to the
are
website and tell how many
raised
umpers
hell
we had at the
and
time.
drunk,
But
throwing bottles places, giving us a bad name,
A shitty
punched the
watermark,
horse. I don't
man.
know. I would have done anything. Someone punched the horse. For the record, you looked at me like, God. No, someone got arrested for punching a horse.
wow.
our audio is like you can tell like there's
Shout
like
out.
slight pops maybe,
The guy
not
who
pops,
punched
but
the
it was
horse.
like
But it's like
it
time
throttles
going
the
by too
voice.
quick for me to even soak it all
Right,
in.
like
It's
anytime we're laughing or
picture
both
winning
doing
the
something,
Super Bowl
it kind of
and me
like
not
peaks.
even-
I think we
I
were
forget
aware
to
of that
do
at the time, so we
Yeah.
so
didn't
drunk, I forget my
full
name.
on
It's
laugh.
binge
But now we
drinking.
can.
We should
Try
crazy.
not to
Go
really
down
hit
on
it.
my knees and scream and break something.
Us having some good belly
I don't
laughs
know.
now that we're older and
And that's
wiser.
almost like Sweet Justice. We'll win it, and I won't even enjoy it as much as I enjoyed.
Oh my
Did you
God.
enjoy it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Hold on. What we're talking
I
about
think you
is
talked about
ironic.
not enjoying it as much when you won.
Because it happened too fast.
There's nothing like almost
I'm
winning
used
it.
to always chasing the
when they
carrot
went
that's
in
dangling.
04.
I'm not used to
Played
getting
the
the carrot.
Yeah.
So
I
if you're
remember that.
chasing a carrot for 14 years, and then all of a sudden someone says, you can have
Oh
it,
no.
You'll eat it, and it's
14 years.
delicious,
Well,
but
this could be revenge. If
you've been chasing it for 14 years. It took you
Or
like
just
4 minutes to eat it, and then you're done.
But
It's
You're
like,
like,
Give me another carrot.
now what?
the 40.
my
Yeah,
ex-girlfriend.
What do I
Give me
do
the
now?
same carrot.
And
I
so
just
it's
had
like,
a
you
carrot.
just you just chase this carrot. You're done. That's it.
So I was watching it in her school in University of Scranton.
It's like Brady seeing it, like winning it for
I
like the
remember we
6th time.
lost, and
Is
I
that
was
6th time or
so
something.
And so mad.
6, because it moved to a second finger.
Oh. And he was so joyous to get that sixth one. I was like, what the fuck, man? Like, six times of everything but sex.
Well, do you know why? Because I think that puts him in more
few years,
like unique category. Like there's fewer people with 6 than 5.
He's that much better.
Way fewer. Like there's almost like 3 people.
Because I broke up with Megan, I know it's not like a friendly LOL. It's like she's gonna come get me for a vacuum cleaner one day.
Every year it gets.
We had different jobs at this time.
If
both of us did,
I put money on the Eagles to win, and I win money, I should buy her a vacuum.
Did you buy her a vacuum?
But make sure that you can like etch an Eagles emblem on it.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah,
that's
or
right.
I just
Vacuum.
vacuum. I don't really.
Kate will call her, or Kate F, or Kate Fan.
She got more money than God.
But anyway, that's
oh, she owed you a vacuum.
Anyway, that's sorry.
I remember this story.
I broke her vacuum.
You
the dark one.
Dark, despicable
I literally shattered a girl's vacuum.
Okay. I kind of wish that. I remember watching
back in like 03 or
same thing in college. Watching the Flyers, they beat
07.
They beat. I feel like they beat the Penguins or Tampa Bay in like 7 games.
Maybe both.
Oh, Tampa
Primo,
Bay series.
I think they beat the Penguins and then they beat Tampa Bay.
That was Tampa.
I remember.
I believe in one of those.
I remember watching that. In like the communal area, and
I know that was amazing.
That
Remember
was the
that?
most excited I've ever been about.
Primo hit it off his boot and then across the net mount and then swung around.
The crease. Yeah, oh my god! And then slammed it in himself.
Singular enjoyment by
I've never seen a goal like that ever.
To
That's why it felt better for you.
Because you had to revel
Supremo.
in
That's what the Daily News, Philadelphia Daily News, said on the cover.
Encompass the group's happiness. Because
I know this for a fact because my mother bought the newspaper the next day and tried to get it.
I almost broke a window by launching myself at it.
Who keeps newspapers, Mom?
In a good window.
And to this day, I majored in newspapers, and I think
you kept your piece of paper.
I love hockey. If they
even though no one cared about it,
like that
your degree. I'm talking about your degree.
Oh, that piece of paper. I also threw that away. I mean, honestly,
who asked for
any of these pieces of paper?
If I didn't die, yeah.
Right.
What do you? Are you jealous of your previous self right here?
Pretty painful.
I don't know.
Youthful?
It's weird.
You don't feel pain in the past.
It's youthful, but it's sloppier.
It is definitely sloppier. We don't have really concise points. We're kind of going back and forth. You can tell we have a good friendship, but we don't know.
You can tell we Frenched. Girls. French some girls.
We have.
I
have French girls.
You hardly ever do, Dan.
Yeah, I'm
perfect. Ever do.
I'm perfect.
That's why I like you.
I'll correct that.
Like that's good. That's good back and forth. That's good. See, I think deep down, if you knew us both and you knew what we're going through and you know what's going on inside our heads, these interplays are actually even better than you think. You might think, oh, they're really funny. They're really funny. Manga and know us. You have to.
They weren't around at the time.
I want desperately to have like a nighttime talk show where it's both of us as the host, and then the guest sits in the middle, and the guest has to constantly look left and right.
Constantly look left and right. That was really good. I would like that. Of course, I would.
It's got
go up. It's got extra arms.
This is before we did any interviews.
I kind of hold on a second. I have to see if Amazon
has one. When it was just us two.
Yeah.
A Nazi body pillow?
Yeah. I feel like it might be a thing.
They're coming back.
Waifu?
I feel like they might.
Yeah.
We're talking
waifus
back then,
pillow.
That makes sense.
Your body.
I feel like we would touch on
like that's
like eventually, right?
For like maybe like 2 or 3 pregnant women. Like it was a giant.
They'd share it.
Yeah.
Because they're all impregnated by Nazis.
Yeah. There is a picture of a guy in between. Okay, I'll just stop. I'll close that window.
I have to.
Too distracted.
That's rude to the listener. I can't just not. I can't cut it off.
Nazi garb and 2 hentai picture.
And watch me. I bet I reach for it a little more. Hey, can you tell us how to Google to get there?
All right, I have a scenario for you.
Oh yeah.
I skip right over it.
Oh, scenario.
You're walking your dog. It's like Wednesday. It's Thursday. I don't even know.
I know this one. Where he says, "Don't take Lucene Boulevard or you'll die."
Like 6 in the morning. Still cold.
Your dog says that?
You want to be here.
Yeah.
This
is a good one. Listen to this guy.
You're walking. It's sniffing around like it's about to poop, and you're looking the other way. When you turn back, the dog is sitting on its butt like a human and staring at you, and it says, "Go into your office and quit your job tomorrow."
Quit your job.
Says this. And you stare at it for a few seconds, and then it goes back to sniffing, and it poops eventually. And you're talking to it. You're like, "Hello, did you say something? Hello, dog.
You just speak English.
Dog,
you just speak English. Can you talk? You would make me so much money."
I don't think I can. Do you think that's a message?
And you're not going to quit your job. Honestly, everyone at home.
No idea.
You're not.
Yeah, probably not. But if he, what kind of dog? German
Shepherd.
Quitting your job is a pretty big deal. What if it said, "Don't take somebody down Pike tomorrow"?
You dialed it down a little bit.
Because you're like, that's a street.
Well, because obviously
there's a gap there.
Would you totally be like, I didn't hear anything, but I'm just taking Morris Road?
Looking at myself,
say it in your voice, or does it say it in someone else's voice? Is it British? Because
it's a new
British people do have more sweat. You're absolutely correct.
Looking at myself, I look at myself as like having that old
I
job,
don't know. I mean,
and I think about like the changes that I had over the past year and a half.
Right? That day, maybe for a day.
You look like you have your old job.
But now, what if it's
I look kind of like
quit your job, right?
You're younger by a year. Does that
it's got a lot of weight to it.
I don't know how easy I have it at this point in my life, and like the amount of work that I did was so minimal.
What's the middle ground?
That
you added a kid.
I added a kid too.
Oh
shit, I forgot about the kid.
A
A whole child.
What?
This is the last thing we think about as men.
Really, dog? No, because it has to have something that's like an instantaneous thing. Like, don't do.
I like
this,
not having
or make
talk.
Sure you play this number. Oh, lottery. I play a lottery number.
I was a talker more back then. Even
that
then.
tells you to. I mean, whatever it does.
Well,
tells you to.
I've noticed that now I can hold weight with people who are like the center of attention in a group. Like it used to be that I would like shy away and listen.
Hoggy people.
Well, there's some people that have strong conversational skills.
I can't.
And like I feel like I match them and I make them laugh at the same time, which I never really did. Plus the dynamics of my job are different as well. That there's younger people who are funnier.
It usually doesn't involve.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then
I think you've healed
this podcast.
The possibility
of it, a progression, a growth. I don't know.
Time,
a memory,
passing of time.
Over time. I think a memory allows you to access the hurt part.
What's crazy is I don't remember this at all.
Correct.
If you asked me what we talked about in the time episode, I'd be like,
you could separate the two. Well, maybe you can.
If someone would say, "Hey, I learned that about you," I'd be like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know how you know that."
Well, because we didn't tie in the main topic with the smoke smile, the celebrity challenge, the tongue twisters.
It's not a possibility.
They're not all time related.
No, not at all. But even if
go back to your dog,
we did it the opposite way, I don't think they would. But they're all separate to
pancreas. Would you go ahead and get a scan? Like that takes some time, costs some money.
It does. You could set it up though.
I didn't know that was in time.
Hey doc, can you just X-ray for cancer, MRI?
What about some of the things we did?
Yeah, I don't know what you're saying.
There's one about.
It's funny.
Like Pound Daddies.
I think I might have cancer.
Like I think that joke kind of came out of this style. Also, there's one about like the drive-through clerk who says something obscene, but you just go along with it.
If it's like,
and then he one-ups you.
Yeah.
Oh, penis or sprinkles?
Yeah, it's good.
Well, I want some penis.
I'd like this exploratory surgery, doc. I don't know what I have.
Oh yeah, you do. And then you go, why wouldn't I right now? And then he slowly scoops the peanuts.
I just want to take pictures and put them on YouTube.
He's staring at it.
The whole thing, inside and out.
He shakes his now shortened hair. That's how you brush your teeth.
Have you ever in your entire life, by perjury of a grand jury, ever done
circumstance that I
cocaine
could bring up?
Yeah.
So the government's
it was spring break.
You can do whatever the hell you want.
And
we had these go into too much detail. I don't know if the court's watching this, but yeah.
There were these older gentlemen.
They're not allowed to like do any work
probably
whatsoever.
Probably in their mid-20s, and we were like, I was like 21 at the time.
They don't.
They.
Oh, okay. What do you say?
There were probably like 3 or 4 of my friends in their condo hanging out.
No,
they poured cocaine out in front of all of us.
They don't get paid
and said, "Who wants some?" And
they get retro pay. Everyone.
I don't know, like it. That doesn't seem.
Last time it happened, they got retro pay for like a week.
So I'm one for doing anything
a day,
at least once, except that. So I never did that. I just kind of looked at it and was like,
and I'm
I gotta go.
To do normal work
like I bounced.
While all these
but the next morning, one of our friends stayed the night at their place, came down with one of their shirts on, like it was a nightie,
4 hours,
and like he just like had this weird smile on his face, like he had the best night of his life.
So they at 4 hours, everyone left.
Weird.
And I'm sitting there, my contractor is telling me that
I have this dead look in my eyes I keep seeing.
All of the federal facilities that
you see my dead look?
Isn't this like illegal? Like,
No, I remember.
Oh, yeah, you don't have
my video feed of it. But anyway,
do I have a dead look in my eyes? Do you remember you having a dead look in my eyes?
Really,
I do. I remember this episode. You had a dead look in your
Oh,
eyes.
yeah, thank you.
No, I do not recall it.
It's the corporate shill mentality where you're just
I think I was trying too
do
hard.
the best you can. It's like
corporate
that doesn't
shill.
mean
I
anything.
can't do it with anyone else here.
Yeah, there's 4 people in the office when there's usually 100. I don't know what the hell's going on. So, I am working.
Now that I will agree with you. This whole format, how long has this episode been going on? We haven't gotten the time yet.
Yeah.
That would not.
You know what you could say to them, right?
No.
No, I do not.
As they walk by, the word of the day.
What might that be?
Word of the day.
Tinkerty tonk.
Tinkerty tonk. Tinkerty
It's an
tonk.
old-fashioned way of
I
saying
need to
it.
start saying that.
Tinkerty tonk.
Tinkerty
But
tonk.
I'm not sure what nationality started it.
What
or
does it
whatever,
mean,
but
Nick?
Tinkerty tonk. It sounds funny.
That's the way I say it.
How, use that in a sentence.
Tinkerty
You can just say it like a
I think
word.
it's just a phrase. Like, hey, see ya. Tinkerty tonk. You gotta use your
Tinkerty tonk. I'll see you
Very
later.
finger.
fellas.
It's very finger.
Tinkerty tonk.
The old,
Tinkerty tonk.
Give me the old tinkerty
It's
tonk.
cracking you
They're
up,
gonna be
so
like,
I
what do you
can
mean,
hear
granddad?
See?
What
was that?
I forgot about that.
If I did that in the office, they'd be like,
Yeah, the noises
He's
that.
fired.
yeah.
Yeah.
Friendship noises.
Unless it's like you coach the oldest guy in the office, and he's like, oh, finally, tinkly tongue, tinkly. It's like,
Whoa.
now I gotta do that every time I see him. Every
Tinkerty tonk.
Tinkly tongue.
Tinkerty
Tonk.
tonk.
That was nice, wasn't it? That was pleasant.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
there's no way to say it in a masculine way, which I think is what makes it fun.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
did stem cell research on your daughter. Her cells will be used to help
Real
future
quick,
generations.
For the podcast.
Tinkerty tonk.
So,
People
so
at home.
Tinkerty tonk is goodbye, and it's usually Tinkerty tonk old fruit,
Are you wearing
Or-
one right now?
Whoa.
or Toodle Pip old bean.
Well, I'll be damned.
Tutor Pip old bean.
Toot-
Turns out,
Toodle
we're
Pip.
at the news,
Toodle Pip, old
WH
bean.
1000X.
Tutor Pip old bean.
Really?
Just came out about a month or two ago.
Wow.
Sounds like we're treading on the gay
Sony's,
community.
Oh man, that is that gay? I don't even know if it's gay.
I don't know. I'm just saying, like they have more
Wireless
expressive
noise
things than
canceling.
we do, and I feel like if we
Nice,
steal
yeah,
it,
they,
we're appropriating their stuff.
You know, Bose has had a stranglehold on the economy.
Tinkerty tonk.
CQ25.
CQ 25s.
Yeah.
No, do you know I had them for 24
No one
hours
can
and
match
returned them?
that.
The ones I was wearing have been returned.
Oh, yeah?
Someone at home might be
Well,
wearing these.
Sony may have
This
actually
is
one
not
up them
them.
here. It's in the same price point, except that this one has
Active noise
Wow.
Sense engine.
It looks like you
high
just
res-
bought that.
What's that?
Did you just buy that?
Yeah, I just bought it today.
Oh, wow.
My greasy
Oh,
ass hair
convenient.
was
How much
touching
did I
your headphones. Someone
$350.
$3.50.
$350.
Going up.
Burr.
What did you buy after that?
$300.
More? Less?
You just went down.
More by not much, but
Literally
the
went
Yeah.
No, I had $180.
The Bowers and Wilkins ones that I have.
Oh,
The gold
so
ones?
you paid half price.
Yeah,
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
They do look
Yeah,
like they're worth
exactly.
more.
I haven't decided if I'm keeping them, but they're actually really.
they're so good.
They're like.
But
Here's the issue.
they're so impractical. Like, where do I wear noise
I
canceling
think noise
headphones that
canceling is really
cut
cool.
off my entire
They need
isolation
it,
from the
but, like,
world? Like,
I got money to burn.
We talked about this. It's the bubble. This is the bubble that
I know.
protects you from your
My
girlfriend.
son was taking a bath
right?
tonight.
And every time I wear them, she's like, "Are
Right
you
now.
yelling your name? I was asking for a glass."
Filling the
of
tub.
water."
I could hear him making noises in there.
Couldn't you hear
Like,
your child
anything. I
screaming?
was like,
Oh.
It's like,
closing my
no, I
eyes.
couldn't.
That's immediately.
Why I bought
Second,
them.
I was like, he could be
Yeah,
drunk.
yeah.
He's good.
You got this
And then I
one.
would do this again. I'd be like, he's good.
He was
You're rocking your
playing.
sleep to sleep.
But like,
He was
but I couldn't
playing.
enjoy myself because. And then I started doing the dishes with him,
Oh
and
my
I couldn't
god.
hear the TV in the background, him playing, and I just kept picturing my nagging, awful girlfriend in the hallway screaming, "Are you listening to me? Are you listening?" And me just smiling and cleaning dishes and being like, "Oh my god!" But like, it's almost like they're too good for me.
Huh.
Oh,
They might not be too good
This
for
is
other people.
exactly what we
They're
touched
too good
on.
for
How
me.
Yeah.
weird is this?
I remembered that.
Wow. Who are you
I
gonna
know, but I didn't know it was
put
this
them in a box
episode.
and ship them to me? They might be good enough for me.
Yeah, you were like, who cares about this? Now you're like, ooh, they sound nice.
I really want to zone out
shipping
my
them
entire
to you.
family and just be able to really enjoy my time on the
Well,
earth.
If I'm being honest, I actually bought the Bose CQ35s today,
Oh, yeah.
which are the exact same price. And I came home and did all my Reddit homework.
All right, folks.
Which I had kind of been doing for a week.
The honest
Except
part of
that
it.
It was like, if you're on the fence, just buy the Sonys. They have a better sound quality. The only thing the Bose one offers is they feel nicer on your ears. But this one has like 5 hours more battery life.
40 minutes in, we haven't talked
really
about
cool
time.
I know.
You can customize.
And I love these
Matches
episodes.
pretty much everything else, and then it has really good like sound quality.
It's
It
better to
sounds
have like
really
the
expensive headphones.
the
Whereas
lack
Bose
of
is, like,
focus at the
everyone's like
end.
a
So if someone's actually listening
that
like more than
nice
30
bass
minutes,
Bose.
They'll check it out by the end.
Bluetooth
yeah, they
whatever.
can choose to check out, but still feel
Dial
like
your
they
phone
got
in
what
and
they
just
wanted.
play.
Correct. It also
Right,
has
that makes
something
sense.
you
That
can
makes
input
sense.
if you want. It also is future proofed because Bose runs on aptX Bluetooth.
Man, you get all the words.
aptX.
Listen, when you do as much
Man,
research
knows
as I
what he's
do,
talking about.
I might spend $350 on headphones where I don't know what the F every piece does. But these also support LDAC.
Do you
and
wanna-
the next?
I know we
one
never
just gonna
do
come
this.
out. It's just a
skip
higher
ahead a
fidelity
little bit?
Bluetooth.
That's
stream,
fine.
So
We
like, it isn't out yet.
Let's
but
get
it
to
will
time.
be when
Oh,
it
why
is.
don't we?
Look at the
Wow.
time. No,
How
wait,
much time?
Maybe we shouldn't because it'll mess with our
Or,
time episode.
most
version of
people
that
say
time
they
or
keep
something.
their like really nice 300 plus headphones for like 7 years, 4 years.
If you choose,
Huh.
I could
5
skip ahead
years.
by a certain
People
amount.
will replace the
The
cup.
episode is another hour
Before
long,
anything else.
so that does
Like a
put us
house.
quite
People
quite
stay in
ahead.
a house for 7 years.
I was
We have to
hoping
make
use one for
each
this
We
weekend.
could just
Episode after this
Anyway,
shorter.
no.
This
we
episode
wouldn't.
is
Yeah,
brought to
we
you-
could
brought
do
to you
that,
by
but
Sony
we can't
WH
make
1000X
material from an old
includes,
episode.
if
So
you
might
get
as well
yours,
just.
type in
gut it
the
out.
product code
You know what I'm saying?
Pander for
If we
0%
cut this out,
off,
we always
and
have
you
enough
get all the
material.
Yeah.
Check it out, folks.
Get all those
Oh.
here.
If we
The
skip
other
it, we
really
might
cool
be
thing about
short
these,
Oh yeah.
or something.
Oh, those are
if you're
interesting
wearing them
glasses.
before you get
What do
to
you
your
say?
thing, like and the noise canceling,
put
on,
on,
I can't hear anything. Like you could be talking to me, I'll be like
Glasses
this,
with a
I
red
have no idea,
reflection,
and if I see
which I
someone
had.
talking to me,
I had
it's
here
motion enabled.
until
So I
a
do
week
this,
ago,
hold my right hand
and then
over
I
the
moved
cup
them
right here,
downstairs because I might actually
turns
use
off
them.
all music and turns
Yeah,
everything
you
on
getting
the
old?
microphone
What kind of
for a
glasses
couple
are they?
seconds. So it's like,
Wow.
yeah,
They don't look
and
as
it's
good
like
as I
someone
thought.
talking, and it's like it's cool. I got a review of them. I think it's pretty awesome. It's
I have a feeling that
it's
like
really
halfway
good. I don't
through
know.
we
Just,
fade
I
on
don't
this
know if noise
episode.
canceling, maybe
We
I'll
might start talking
straight
about
up,
time,
let's-
actually.
let's hear what you have
Well,
to say,
the
Dan.
Yeah, I'm
problem
on
is
the other
with
end of the
time,
spectrum,
You talk
so
about like parse.
color
The visual.
Yeah.
What is
Talk
time?
about clocks.
Longest
I think I'm
denomination
talking about
clock.
the types of clocks they
Because I
made to
bought-
measure
I
time,
did.
and then physics. How do you?
Yeah, no. For $50, I got 3 of these
Well, here,
sets.
does
Wait.
time get from what we know
And
is smaller
I wrapped
or
the third one as
larger?
a gift for my wife for Christmas.
Which
So
is the bigger
I
dynamic?
checked a box on that one as well.
Smaller amounts of
Oh,
time.
you got
or
11
larger?
months to get them, huh?
I don't even know
I
what
know
you
that's
mean by
crazy.
smaller
this
or
is-
larger
this
amount
is
of
a little old.
time.
I wanted to do this last podcast.
Denominations.
Dilly dallying.
Oh,
We start
Jesus.
thinking in years
Tinker
versus
tattle.
months
Short on
versus
time over
days.
here.
Yeah.
Tinker
versus
tattle.
weeks.
No.
Tinkerty top.
What's the longest
Tinkerty-talk.
denomination of time?
Tinkerty talk. That's
Eons, and then beyond that it's like
Tinkerty-talk.
parsec eons,
But
and beyond that it's
I-
like
I
double
wear these
light years,
and-
and beyond that it's this.
I thought they'd be too
Google
flashy.
collects
Like,
of
it
light
compliments
years.
every day.
And then when we
Like,
talk
I
about
really like
smaller
your
and smaller
sunglasses. I'm
increments of
like,
time, we can get down to
Strangers?
Yeah.
like
Complete strangers.
which is the greater value.
I don't wear the red ones. I
we
wear
can
I have
split
like blue tint.
a second
These,
into
like
a
looking at
billion
myself,
pieces,
it looks like Doom.
or we
Like this
can
is the
turn
coloration that Doom
a
has.
billion years into a billion years.
Yeah, I'm wearing.
Fires a hell.
That doesn't matter. Are you saying like time travel because you can make it faster versus like dissecting time so you can make your life longer?
It does.
That's
tint.
what I'm hearing.
I can't do both.
No,
because
no.
There's 2 cameras
Just
actually.
what's the
but
greatest
hold on.
Just give us one.
unit
Let me give
measurement
you the
of
feel.
Yeah, that's
There
all
you
I
go.
want.
You
Is
can
it-
see it has a blue tint because this
a
one's
measure
red, but I
so
have a blue one.
small
I have a
it's
red tint.
ridiculous. It's like
I want
a
the red
million
tint.
times.
But it's
what we
100%
know now. Or is it
UAV,
a big
UVA,
number?
UVB, all that jazz.
Yeah, all
Is
the
it
jazz,
small or
baby.
big
It's
number?
very light. Waves
get
gear.
smaller
They
in
float
time
in
or
water,
bigger in
which
time?
I never go into.
That's what I'm asking.
So I don't have a use for it. But I'm like a vampire or something. I don't know.
Texas could have used them a few months ago.
I should have got
I think
them
the
before
smaller
Harvey,
in time matters more
Luckily, I
because the
didn't
more
go
you
in any
can
water.
go small, the more you can go
Or-
big because it's a
Okay.
technological advantage.
Yeah.
Right, no,
But yeah,
I
they're
100%
nice.
agree
I like
with that.
them.
I don't
They fit
disagree. I'm
anybody's
saying,
head.
have we been
It's
able to
waves gear.
measure in
Oh,
smaller
I heard the
units
waves,
of
I didn't
time
know.
or
Yeah,
larger
we
units of
get
time?
the,
Well, I guess we
the
can
symbol
measure
right
in
there.
larger, so it's fine.
Because we're not sponsored
Yeah,
in
I
any
don't
way by.
know what more.
But if we were,
All the measures
yeah,
of time that are
those
larger are
probably-
like
Yeah.
distance time,
they
like
just
light
threw a
years.
few $1,000
Like, what's the
our way.
largest measure of time?
They're going to give give us
And
some
what's
money
the
in
smallest
retrospect
measure
after
of time?
they've already made their money millions.
Is it Jiffy?
Premium
The
leather.
smallest?
I thought a
Oh,
GIF
boy.
was a
Premium
short
leather.
period of time.
Okay, that's
Good
Do it in Jiffy?
Like they're in a Jiffy.
Panderers.
I thought it was a fraction of a second.
The episode.
Yeah.
It's so
Jiffy.
funny
We're
we're
not
gonna
selling any of this crap. We're
repeat
just liking it.
ourselves.
So we done the episode?
Or I think we run out of time.
Time for
Run out of time. And I think
light to travel 1 Fermi, which is approximately the size of a nucleon.
All the way back. Waste
Holy shit, that's
time.
That's the shortest amount of time you can have.
I use the word a lot this episode.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it's 3 times 10 to the negative 24 seconds.
All right, now hold on. Here's my literal question. So what about 3 times 10 to the negative 26? Can we not measure that? Is that the idea?
Well, we missed
Again, this is like a theoretical thing, though, because you're measuring something that happens within, like, atomic distances.
Right. So
the fastest thing, shortest
distance, right?
A cup or pooping or something.
What about the time it takes to travel a radius?
It was a celebrity challenge. Everyone screamed, but it was butter building, where you build something.
You're gonna say
you have to churn it yourself.
Eat it.
Be a challenge.
No. You buy the sticks.
You have to eat the butter.
Animals. You buy the sticks. That can be salted or unsalted, your choice. And I wanted Celine Dion to take one share. See the rightful turn back time. If I could time here, I forget all her songs. But you know, you get what I'm saying. they could butter off. The crazy thing.
If I could turn back
time. You build a crazy sculpture. You want to build a house, like a Lego house, whatever. And then you have double the time to build it to eat it all.
Wow,
that's
pretty good.
I knew you would.
I was envisioning
this is a weird type of journal,
side by side celebrity challenge. With
the trick,
you sort of remember it and do remember it, but don't. But aren't 100%.
But I want this to happen.
I think about myself and what I didn't know was coming. Like, there's no way I would have known the future at this point, and I can fill in the blanks for what was coming.
Double celebrity challenge.
This ties into whether we listen to our episodes or not.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a reflection.
I'll listen, but I don't
smoke.
listen so many times that I memorize.
That would just be a ridiculous celebrity challenge. That was.
It's a combination of memory and.
We'll donate to a charity. I don't even know what you donated.
Like I remember our conversation.
There's 2 charities involved. One
not necessarily how we got there.
The other one has to be for
sunburn.
I remember like the key points. Like when you mention certain things, it fires off something that like I knew you were talking about.
Individual words or sentences like will literally strike out at me, and I'm like,
"So main topic."
That's the way you put it together.
Time. Folks,
but I don't remember how we got there.
It's time for what?
Time for time. This is a big topic.
We spent
really
40 minutes or something before we got to time. I think we said that after we recapped and said it took too long to get to time.
You can kick it off.
The origin of time.
Origin of time.
Where did time start?
13th century. They started making like crazy clocks.
I'm listening to these guys. They're good.
Just sundials.
Well, the sundials go back way back. So the origin, I'm going to jump around.
It's like a Mayan calendar.
There's a lot of different aspects of time.
Which time is really based off the universe, right? Is the rotation of the planets, the Earth, the Sun.
The day has 24 hours in it.
You say the universe, but I think
the
just the solar system, right?
10
we don't care about the other things. It's just our.
And then they added an hour before and an hour after.
Yeah, but you can also tell, like via the stars in the sky, that there's a rotation happening.
How did they know the night was passing as long as the day was passing? That's
precession.
I don't think they did. I think they just knew
the wobble.
The day was. Because that
the Earth is wobbling.
Because of the lunar cycle.
Well, we're not getting off. Now we are jumping.
The lunar cycle is a month, though.
It is a month. You questioned me on this.
I know. I didn't question you.
A month by how often the
review the tape.
Rotated the.
Hold on. Let's listen.
Wait. So naturally,
I think it's the shading of the moon.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, before we get corrected here.
Yeah.
Before you get corrected here.
Moon Nazis show up. It's hoping Wolfenstein 2, folks. Or Doom.
Nazis on a lot of games.
There are.
We came back to Nazis a lot in the early years. I think we hated Nazis that much.
I think everyone hates Nazis.
I've done it in real life.
I think it's easy to hate Nazis.
Edit that out there.
I'm not going to edit that out.
Oh well.
That's how we get our viewership.
The Nazis.
Yeah. Our edge.
I see because we hated Nazis.
I don't think so.
A Nazi pillow.
Nazi waifu.
So let's break time down naturalistically. Everyone knows there's night and day, right?
Yeah.
Even if you don't know they're exactly the same length or not the same length or whatever.
Yeah.
This guy's my favorite member.
Lunar cycle is a month, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Now,
Do you think
also you understand
people pick a favorite when they're watching us?
That's 4 seasons.
That's what my questionnaire. Oh, I need to send Kaylee the
Right.
questionnaire.
You
Yep.
Stop.
Is there anything after that that's naturally occurring that you can see?
Do you think people have to
Oh,
pick a
like
favorite
that.
when they're watching these things,
Beyond
or do you think
the
it's
year.
just like some people do, some don't? I don't
This
know.
is where somehow they knew. Because,
I have a feeling that people
I was
like
researching
you.
about different
But
segments
there's
of
definitely
time.
a
I don't know if
likability
there's
factor.
multiples
I
a
will
year,
give to
but
me.
they
I
use,
will
like,
argue for
Olympiad,
it.
like the Olympics.
My
is every
question
4
is,
years.
can't you just watch it
Somehow
and
they
not
knew
have a
that
favorite?
they
Or
wanted to
do
break it down
people
into 4
have
years.
a
So maybe there's a cyclic element.
What's
to
the
4
thing
years
going on?
That,
Like, is there a
Well,
process?
4 years, maybe.
I feel like the people that will
processes.
continually
like they
listen,
figured
that actually are like a
maybe
part of a
in their
viewership, like us both,
idiocy,
but like the
they
interplay
figured,
between
1 year
both of us.
winter was the longest, 1 year
Right,
fall was
right,
the
that
longest,
makes sense.
1 year summer was longest, 1 year spring was longest by a day
Why?
or two, and then
Why?
it would just repeat.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because some
Because
years
the
some
interplay
seasons
between two
do
people
feel
is
longer.
unique.
And
I
these
feel
are
like
primitive
people
folks
aren't
without
as unique as.
calculators.
I agree.
I was trying to figure things
I
out.
don't disagree.
I don't know, but those are the obvious ones, right?
Yeah, at a certain point, it becomes more of a mathematical exercise to figure other elements out about the world, like the physics about world or.
And I
judging
figured out
how
why they
long
hate you.
It's gonna
Math.
take for something. To
Math. I remember
Math,
the
like,
worst
it's
math thing I did
more-
was the amount of water that you needed to like water your own
realization.
land.
Yeah, and bring it and carry it and
Yeah.
transport it and everything.
Yeah.
I remember
When you
this.
start talking about
just
years
listening
and stuff
to
and seasons, they use the stars a lot, didn't
6
they?
weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
Really?
Right?
I
Yeah,
don't.
it
I
just
think
went
I.
live.
I actually I did it. I did
You
the
might be
math, but
right.
it was like
It just
brutal.
seemed
Like it
like
would take
live.
all year
Season.
to pretty much
You're
go
just
to the
wobbling.
sea and get
Right,
water and
the
bring it back.
23-degree axis tilt is at
There was
23 and
a
half,
thing
you
about
know.
water
Come
that
at
we
me,
missed in that
experts. I hear
episode.
you.
23.6.
It was the
Is that
creation
what it is? I
of
didn't
stuff
research that. That's
Dude,
from
I
my
was
that
so
water
incredible
uses.
you knew that.
I'm gonna
It's
research
23.9 or
Corrections
24.5.
Yeah.
Hold on, 24.9.
We're doing some sort of stupid math
No,
here.
it's 23
But,
point something.
like your clothes
23.5.
are made of cotton,
Yes.
right?
Let the record show.
So like
you
cotton
guys-
requires a ton of water.
do.
So just by wearing this shirt, it's like
So, yeah,
an
they could-
absurd
they
amount
could
of
tell
water
by
was needed to grow the
celestial
shirt.
beings
It was like
bodies
thousands
Really?
of gallons
It
of
was-
water
it was
were needed.
wobbling.
So you would be
Whoa,
naked
whoa,
if
whoa, wobble! I heard it. I heard it.
precession.
Or just
We were
the
talking about
different
precession.
Seasons. I mean,
Is that a yearly thing that it rotates like on a wobble, or does it wobble and rotate? Maybe that's how they got more years out of it. Or should have
Mayan calendar.
oh yeah, because isn't there something that a top does called
Precession.
precession
Yeah.
that happens because the wobble is so slow.
Yeah.
Like it can be spinning, but the wobble goes slower.
Yeah, have you ever seen the precession of items on ISS, International Space Station?
I think
No,
I
I
said
didn't.
90
That's
minutes,
pretty
and it
bad.
should be
That's a
30
lot.
minutes.
Yeah, I forget what object it was, but they spin it, and it's like normally spinning, and then the precession comes like it gets a little bit out of whack, so it kind of resets.
a little bit.
Yeah, well, it
It's a
doesn't.
different
It
pivot.
changes a lot. It changes like 90 degrees and then starts spinning the other way,
Oh.
and then it undoes
If
itself.
you've
and
never
then
seen this
spins the other
video, you
way.
should.
Oh, we're gonna check that out. No, I did not see that.
Mhm.
Interesting. I did not see it.
I did Nazi say that. Did I say Nazi?
I've been Nazi'd.
So all right,
You did.
let's break it down in a different direction.
Sure,
But
spin it.
same item. Do you know what 1 second is?
The atomic clock.
So there's a lot of ways to define that.
Yeah, but what
That
is
counts.
There's where you're going.
Which I find
I went atomic clock with
know
this
this.
one.
No.
Average.
just
It's like the
incredibly what everyone knows.
the
How
vibrations
many
of
rotations of a vibrations of a
Timing.
cesium
Saying it,
atom?
1 Mississippi.
cesium 132,
8?
It's really close.
might be 138.
You ask any kid on the street, hey Billy, hey Bobby, hey Jihad, whatever kid you're talking to.
Yeah.
It depends where you're from. We have a lot of Jihads here.
Guards.
1 second, and they always say, that's just 9,192,631,770 cycles
You
of
bastard.
the radiation between 2 levels of cesium-133.
That's exactly
Oh,
what I was
133.
Oh, my man won.
And then I always look at my paper
Damn
and
it.
make sure they got the number right, and usually they do.
It is
Like,
9
the
million.
The kids in here are smart.
going. Super smart. Yeah,
Pretty
it says cesium atom changing states. So every
Nine.
Oh,
it's actually the radio frequency they hit it with.
So hold on, what do? They hit it with a radio frequency, and it what?
Yeah. So the frequency is like exactly timed so that the cesium atom gives off the right amount of energy, and they measure the energy to prove that the frequency of the radio is timed to the cesium atom.
I'm not disagreeing with that at all. Are you shaking? Are you getting all into this?
I don't know if that's arm.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're getting
arm
horny.
on the damn desk. But
I'm reading
here's
right
my
now
question. So which came first?
because we
Ours
didn't really cover the
second
history of
or
the second.
this second.
We spent
Because
40
I don't think
minutes
a lot
introing
of
this.
the Greeks or anybody were measuring
Like the
cesium
definition of the
133
second.
Isn't
I don't know where the
9
original
point
second
whatever
came from.
million?
It's 9 million of the
What would be
cesium
the
atom
smallest, like the only
decay or
things I
whatever.
looked at were different version of clocks.
Oh, like where it came
and
from.
it seemed like they were just
Yeah, like
trying to
why did they
time
pick
even intervals
24
of
hours,
time.
60
They're trying
minutes?
to figure out like
I guess your best
60
bet
seconds
was
to a minute.
Find out an hour or a day. I guess a day is almost easier. Except every day is different length. But if you broke a day down and then tried to divide the day into 12 and then divide that into 60 and then divide that into 60, like that's you would get a second that way, right? Did I do that math right?
yeah. And then we start modeling different types of clocks.
Sexagismal
Water clock was a
division of the day
water
by ancient calendars.
The
Sexagismal.
Eagles are going to the Super Bowl.
sorry.
Y'all can suck it.
Yeah. They let their water pour out of something.
But
and
the
they
second
figure out
was
that,
a
like, the amount
sexagismal division of the
distance it
day,
takes,
not like an hour.
time,
What the
or-
fuck is that?
What I thought was more
False to that.
fascinating was that they started creating these like crazy like spring-like clocks, and they don't really know who made the first clock, but the thing was like ingenious, like the way it kind of like spun. And
Oh,
kept
here
time.
goes a new clock.
Like it was the precursor to the pendulum clock, where you like pull a weight.
You're
and it
using
just
gravity
swings.
to define how quick something is.
Is it just did those clocks work on the principle
Because
that
gravity is
the
consistent.
length of the
Not necessarily.
pendulum is such that
Well, it is
the momentum
9.8
stays the
meters
same and
per
it's always
second
the length
squared.
to keep it.
on
Unless you're at
any item.
yeah,
Keep it
no,
time.
if you're at
Is
sea
that-
level, it's different than if you're on the
Did
top of a
you go
mountain.
into the measurements of time
So it's
in their
time,
smallest and largest?
I went to Planck's length,
right?
which is what?
Yeah.
What?
This is the distance it
It
could
was
travel
time.
in
Light can travel
in-
in a Planck length,
which is I don't
which is
know.
about the size of
Right.
a nucleus,
Nucleus.
roughly. There's an actual, it's called a Fermi, whatever the hell a Fermi is.
We just talked about the definition of a jiffy.
Oh,
Shout out.
damn,
He
we're
watches the
repeating
podcast.
time.
He's dead, I
Big
think.
fan of the UnPanderers. He's dead.
He does watch.
Do we say jiffy in this episode?
So that one's
yeah,
like
I
a
think we did.
theoretical measure. So like we're starting to get into like the physics of things. Like if
I mean,
you want
that's
to,
a real measure, isn't it?
it's true,
It's
but
theoretical. What the hell is
It's a jiffy.
bar second? I mean,
It's a
that's
jiffy.
if you want to
theoretical too.
if you want to project anything out in time, then you're using like pure time to judge it, which is I don't know how to say it. It's like a
Distance? What is it?
No.
I have no idea.
I'm not even saying like travel in time. Like if you say like 1 year from now we're gonna do this thing, like we already have a preset amount of time, and that's
Sure.
measured on the atomic clock.
So how do you measure
So
it
the
in
value of
space?
time. I'm talking about the value of
How
time.
do you
here.
measure time in space?
Yeah.
Like if you're on the space station, or if you're not near an atomic clock, like there's
Not
no
near an atomic
technology.
clock, and we're talking about something that happens on Beetlejuice's sun.
So
Beetle-
yeah, so you
You know
so
Beetlejuice.
you don't have a
Beetlejuice.
real sun. You don't
It
have
was
a.
just, I tried to say
every-
it third time.
Sorry.
Beetlejuice.
Just wanted to say it 3 times. Yeah.
So I don't know. Like usually when we talk about like how long a planet takes to rotate around some random
Our
star,
time, really.
it's our
right?
time. Like their reference time is completely different.
That's an
So,
interesting point.
via time dilation and physics, isn't there?
Do you
time?
think other
Could it be
people,
different?
other aliens, if aliens exist,
I'm
that
gonna
they
jump
think in our
into,
time?
like,
Or do you think
animal
they're really
time.
slow, really fast? Do you
So-
think they'd
Okay,
be mentally
interesting. I
faster
didn't
than
know
us?
this.
I don't know. So they say that like things with smaller
Is that possible?
smaller
Because like our
hearts,
brains
they-
are
they
electrical and
perceive
chemical reactions,
time
right? So we would
slower.
probably, if
So
we had
they
the same
live
chemistry, think in the
on,
same
like,
time
red
frame.
fast-
Did you read
Right,
how many
are we
heartbeats?
talking
How many
minutes,
heartbeats? What?
hours, weeks, days?
Everything
Or are we
has-
talking
Is it
jiffies?
similar? Is it similar in all?
Oh
all
yeah, hold on.
respects?
Check
I don't
that.
know, like, take a
literally just read
tree.
this 2 days
Like if a
ago,
tree wants to
when I was
move,
drinking or something at night.
how long
had
does it
nothing
take to
do with
move?
Any of this podcast?
I've heard this
Um,
argument,
the
or made
reason
this argument,
larger
that
things
trees,
heartbeat slower
etc., are
and much
working
smaller
on the
creatures
same
like a shrew or a
intelligence
hummingbird,
level as we
their
are,
heartbeat
but on a
much
slower
faster.
Oh
scale.
yeah.
Now, what they
So they
realize
move
is
towards
that if
the
you
sunlight
spaced it
every
out
day
over
for
the
them
course
is
of
like
a
a week,
species or an animal or an
and they
individual
just
creature's life, they all tend to have the same amount of heartbeats.
I would
slowly
counter that with saying that it's like
I don't
more
know
of
if it was 10 million, 1 million, 100
a
million.
physical
I
thing,
forget the
like a
number, but the
mathematical
number was
equation that
similar
dictates
in
how
all
they
animals. Try it out.
operate. Like the
I
different
don't know how to
scenarios
do
presented to
math. I
them
have
make
to
them what
think
they
about
are.
Well, not asking
You're
you.
right, I'm not
I
saying
want to
it's
do
not.
it though.
But I don't think it's a choice. I think it's just like how they can grow in the situation they're provided.
Large.
No, right. How much water they can absorb at the same time, how much they can grow, how much they can
many heartbeats,
nutrients, sunlight, heat.
Right.
Show up what it.
You're getting sleepy. I see the eyes getting sleepy.
62 beats per minute, which I think is like a resting heartbeat. Over the course of 100 years,
that's a lot.
How many beats do you have?
A lot of years, yeah. That's like 3 billion heartbeats.
It could be 1 billion then, because your number might be flabbergasted.
Well, our heartbeats are
flabbergasted.
I
called your number flabbergasted.
I think turtles have slow heartbeats too, but they could live a long time.
So there is a graph that shows like heartbeats, and like the slower heartbeat lives longer.
We're getting a little off topic,
but people have refuted that for some reason, even though it looks like a fucking beautiful graph.
Pretty much the same thing, actually. Is that
Fuck
their
those
time
people.
could be a lifetime. Like their
Sorry,
lifetime
people.
Could be our
You're
lifetime
fucked.
if they perceive time.
Fuck 'em.
You've been fucked, but I'm apologizing.
Like a
Because
fly
you're
might
fucked.
only live like a day, but a day to a fly might be 100 years.
Right, but then do they have seasons? So they don't have seasons.
Yeah, so their gauge of time does not involve planetary observations.
Which is interesting. So are we the perfect time noticers? Or do you think if we span out our life to, let's say, 1,000 years, we would notice other patterns that happen very much? And we just don't really pay attention to them because we live to be
Does this go to like cicadas and locusts?
Start noticing like certain comets come by. You're like, oh,
I don't know.
Like they wait
again.
several years
but
to
that
become
your weather, does it?
a fucking
or
beast.
7 or 11, isn't that
Like,
where?
I'm
Yeah.
talking,
That's like the
flies
weirdest
don't know the seasons.
number I ever
Seasons
heard.
are pretty big
It's like,
deals.
cicadas, 11 years. It's like
everything about the surface of the earth.
What?
Right?
Mm-hmm.
How do they
Comet
tell
going by, you
time?
might miss that.
Probably.
You're looking at the ground for like a
11 years? Or
Maybe it could be like volcanic eruptions or something. Like maybe those are
something
Every
we just
11
haven't figured it out
or
yet.
7 years?
I would think
Yeah,
so.
right.
Figured it out though. You don't think?
That's like the
know.
swarm of
All these
locusts when you
numbers?
actually
You might
looked
be
at the
right, I have no
stat
idea.
that it
You
could
go
go
back
from
to
like
13th
California to
century
like
where they made the first
Oregon
clock, and
to,
they
like,
had, they just
North
made a clock.
Dakota.
I don't know who did
I
it.
think that's how big the
Who
swarm
exists.
was.
So before that, we have no recompense of time.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
no
weird.
way
I
to
thought you
measure
were saying it in the.
How about species and like extinctions and stuff?
You can't tell the difference.
that would be a crazy thing too. Like if you could exist longer than almost every species, you'd be able to tell how
Right,
soon
you
a
would know.
species would die. You're
You're
like,
oh,
you're
gonna be
flawed.
going like,
Because a fly has
dang,
no
couple
idea
thousand
that
years?
you were going
Yeah.
to die
Give him 10,000
as a human being.
Let's place
Yeah,
bets.
we
Place
don't
bets.
know.
Place your bets now.
I don't know.
Whole
We
species
don't live
gone.
long.
Do you need a knapsack?
Crazy thing to think about though. That a fly is like having like so many thoughts every like half a second. He's just like.
Is it? Do you think? Do you think they have more thoughts, or do you think just there's more weight in their thoughts?
I don't know. When I try to swat one out of the air, I swear it knows more than I do.
Shit.
This is
Does
a
that
good.
sound weird? I
This
know
is
I brought
good.
this up before in one of our very first podcasts.
Uh-huh.
I'm really good at swatting flies.
I'm really good.
Like,
I
you would be
literally
like,
am one of the
"You
best
can't
people in
get
the
that."
world.
He's like, swatting flies.
I wish I had like
I'm not
cuts.
joking.
Like if
Or,
someone
like,
could
a
go through
rat
and
or
just
a
like
hat
cut
and
out
all
the
that fly.
pieces where you say like ridiculous
Because I
statements.
try and-
I'm
Kill
really
one first
good
strike.
at tennis balls.
Sometimes I
Like, it's just
knock
like
it down, but I can step on it.
swatting flies, swatting flies, swatting flies.
Flailing around.
I can throw
It's
a
like
tennis
that.
ball.
It's like, I just gotta hit.
Wall ball?
The trick is I try and perceive the pattern it's doing, which isn't always a pattern. It's more like what we're talking about. Picturing something over a longer span of time.
Yeah,
Like
perfect
they
moment to
fly in a
strike.
certain way, and the movements are erratic, but it's always moving in one direction. And when you swing at it, you have to figure their senses are such that they're going to see it before it gets there. You want to be where it's going to go.
Yeah.
So if it feels movement, like it's near a wall, and you're swinging at it here, it's going to fly away from the wall because it's whatever. So your thought.
I like
is,
how
I'm gonna
you're
smack
breaking
it
down how to
head
swat
over
a fly.
So it's going to try and get up or away or move. And
Look, its three-dimensional
you,
movement
I'm
vector is
really good at
subtracted
that.
by the how much I'm going to hit it by, and it's going to
Destroying
die instantaneously when I rip off its wings.
excuse me, I got all into
As
it.
you finish sketching on a notebook where it's gonna be.
It works.
Yeah, you just sketch the entire fly's family and its tears. You're, I got it.
So here's something a little interesting that has to do with what we're talking about.
Sure.
A little interesting.
A plunk time.
Plonk.
Plonk.
The
Plonk.
time it takes for one
Photon to
plonk
cross.
to be covered in a
Wait,
vacuum.
that was
It's a
recorded?
Because
That burp?
it's smaller than a
Retort burp.
Was that you or
small
me?
That was
photon.
you.
It's a small distance.
Son of a
Pretty much
bitch.
imagine.
Yeah.
It's 1 times 10 to the negative 44.
Which is not
44?
measurable.
Holy shit, dude.
No, fine.
Theoretically,
Is that the shortest
0.
distance? Plot
That's
length is the shortest distance.
Goddamn,
yes.
Do that right?
half a nucleus,
Yes.
whatever.
I think so. That's how many seconds. Clock length.
There's so much happening.
Well, hold on. So what's interesting is
It's crazy how smart this
for reference,
podcast
a
made me.
millisecond, which is
It did. It
Thousand
made us study things.
Yeah,
is 10
And
to the
get
negative
facts,
3. Makes sense.
motherfucker.
0.0001.
I could see it in my parents. Like parents
Or
have not tried to
0.001.
learn anything new,
Negative to the 0.001.
and it's just like they're
Those-
wasting away.
I'm not
But like
crazy,
you
you're
learn
close.
something
Yeah,
new
move
that's
the decimal,
genuinely
move the decimal.
interesting.
Do you know what the
You
largest
feel like you've
measurement of time
paused
is?
time in a way.
It's called a Yoda second.
Did
Interesting.
not know about this. Yoda sec? Why is it still in seconds?
I have no idea. Anyway,
Star Wars. Go.
and it used to be called a Yoda second. They changed it.
That's with like a J, though,
Yoda
isn't
Wait a
it?
second. Hell yeah.
They changed it YOTTA. I'm not sure. I think because of Star Wars.
That's like the
I think they-
yottabyte or whatever. Like the
Oh, interesting.
exabyte.
Well, it's 1 septillion, so it's 10 to the plus
7.
24.
24.
It breaks down. That many seconds breaks down
I wonder
to
if I go into like
31 quadrillion,
programming.
556 trillion, 925 billion, 445 million.
So blah blah
years.
blah. So there's programming when you're
insane when
referencing
you
in
think that
time,
many
and there's
seconds.
like a modern epoch, which is like
That's a lot of years.
1970.
Wait, you're going to talk
Yeah.
about that?
I am.
So let me
One
break this down
We'll all
just
be
in
dead by then.
what we talked about right
Yeah,
there.
you talk about
So
this.
that number of seconds, 10 to the
It might
plus
be in 2
24
minutes.
seconds.
That's because like
Which how many
the
seconds
libraries
make
that
a
you
year?
reference are called
Different,
Joda
right?
time
You're making
or
me
Yoda time, whatever you want to call it.
I'm just trying to give a spitball here because it's not that important, but it's a lot.
seconds in Yingling. That's the first thing. It's 3.5 for e to the 7th. Seconds in a year.
Okay.
It's like a million seconds.
Okay,
Million seconds.
million-ish seconds.
Ish. 30 million seconds.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
I don't know. Somewhere around there.
Anyway,
You look more youthful.
what's crazy is that
Yeah.
10 to the 24 seconds
And fatter.
You look
But
better.
more youthful.
quadrillion years.
Yeah.
Think about that.
I agree.
You could be
So
chubby
then
and
think about
beautiful,
this.
and then towards the end you can't be chubby and beautiful.
10 to the negative 44.
10 to the negative 44
That's like
helium in the
multiplying
universe.
the thing by 20.
What's the
you know
number?
big of a
How
number
much
we talked
helium?
about?
Yeah.
And
by
the
10 to the
80th
20.
10, yeah, it's like, it'd be like 10 to the 60.
That's it's H though.
Like we don't even
That's
have
hydrogen.
a scale for
Hydrogen,
understanding
not
that.
helium.
The size of the small amount of time is mind-boggling. It's
Like, I'm kind of curious what the size of a nucleus is, and then multiply that by
Math. Multiply by math.
I don't even know.
I should have just said
I
that.
was going to say error.
Error.
What we're getting at, though, is that the smallest and the greatest lengths of
You
time...
can tell when we're both stretching.
Hey, right now, I think the drinks have been kicking
Are
in. We're
immeasurable.
like, woo.
We don't know
Right.
what
Do
we're
you
talking
think
about.
it's interesting
Well, we
to
might
think of
have an
time
idea where we're going, but we don't.
other
We
than
can't fill in the
physical
gaps.
medium? Like,
If it wasn't abstract,
let's say it wasn't. Let's say time is real, which we can't prove one way or the other.
Will
Could
this
you
ever be
explore
popular?
Everything going on in a 1 second time frame? Could you explore everything
Probably
going
not,
on
but
in
I
a
love
2 second time frame? Could you explore everything that could happen in a negative 10 to the negative third time frame? Like, there are all these time frames where things could be happening and we don't even know. I find that
I
fascinating.
jitter a lot. Do I do that again
it's
where I
almost
like,
we can't be in a simulation. Because
I do
there's
that
no way a simulation
sometimes,
could account
but
for
do I
all
continue
the
to do
things
it?
that are happening.
Depends on the scenario.
I guess that's a
Smart
good point.
scenario.
Is it... So is time infinite?
do you want to fall asleep on the little couch right
We
there?
die. For the species.
About to, dude.
So until we stop measuring it.
But I think if
9:15.
a species were
We
to
get
go
in at
on,
9,
they'd
Nick.
probably have to adopt time, wouldn't they? They'd figure out that
Time,
stuff.
You got an
happens
extra
over
15 minutes at the end of the day.
Language, I give props to English majors and time in general.
Got to work full day tomorrow?
time.
No, it's I work 6 days a week.
Only
Tomorrow's
change
my
change
only
gears
day off.
here.
Guys, I'm sorry. It's
Huh.
not
Yeah,
like
like,
so
philosophical.
You have some free time.
Well, this is more.
I was thinking about this.
Driving.
Meaning
If,
of
Driving into school.
so it's more like
If people
so
lived
you hear
until
all
they
the
were
terms
200
like
years
waste of
old,
time,
No, fuck that. I don't want to deal with people who are over 150 years old. They know what's going on. Oh my god, it's like, go away. I wish you were dead.
It's really, really high, but also
But
very low.
Would the retirement age go up?
They wish
Do you think they'd retire at like now 150?
Yeah, of course.
All the time in the world.
Do you think people would notice?
Which is
They'd remember shit from so far ago that it would be like,
remember when we had wooden nickels? And it'd be like,
rotary
Yes,
phones.
You're
Like, that doesn't matter, man. And you're like,
it's like fish.
man, do you want to live forever in this
Still,
body? And they're like,
I don't
rotary
know.
phone.
honestly, if you're talking to 100 and
Jam.
say like you were talking to like a 200-year-old right now, 1818, like that would have gone before what, like the United States was just formed, like 1776. We had just gotten over the Civil War, and it's like,
Bide my time.
The Civil War has just ended.
But then I learned just yesterday
point.
to rush and never waste the day.
Oh.
Well, I'm convinced the whole day long that all I learned is always wrong, and things true that I forget, but no one taught that to me yet. That's just interesting.
Call Nick from
people
the
are like,
past.
slow down, smell the roses,
Yeah.
enjoy time, live life. And everyone else is like, in the same breath, you have to hurry up. Life is fleeting.
you have to get to
You
the
don't have
goal.
what you have. Take advantage. Go. It'll be
The
over
carrot
before you know
you were
it.
talking about earlier.
You get conflicting messages about
Chasing
time
it,
all the time.
eating it.
Yeah, and I think that's. I'm gonna go a slightly different direction. But there's.
Sorry,
I feel like people like to get.
It's funny because you could fall asleep right
like
now
a
and I
certain
could
track,
continue this
and, like,
episode.
moving fast is good.
Just
Maybe
do
if you're
it,
trying
dude.
to get
I'm
to a
ready to fall
destination.
asleep.
But most people probably
gonna
aren't
torture
getting
you
to a
by listening to
destination.
it.
They're just doing the same thing over and over again really
Because
fast.
I'm pretty wide awake.
And they don't realize that you can just stop and realize that there's another aspect of life or a different direction to go into, and it'd be a happier path.
I'm gonna bring down some chips.
I don't know that
Go ahead.
time though. I agree
I'm
with
gonna
you.
eat some
Like,
chips.
Hear me?
People tend
Chips.
to just want to
He's
do
gonna distract
the
us
same
with
thing over and
chips
over
as he
again, quicker,
bites into
more
them.
effectively, more efficiently.
Yeah, but I'm
When
thinking about
really,
corporate.
It's gonna make
a
me
better
hungry
thing
too.
would be to just stop and do something else sometimes.
Yeah, like a corporate
Every day.
environment. Like today, there's a shutdown, which is completely different than any other day. And if
There was
it
a
were
shutdown
just,
a year and a half ago.
I'm going to break it down to like weeks. Like if weeks were
There was a shutdown
5
last
working
month.
days and 2 non-working days every single day, like every single week was the same exact frame of mind. There's no holidays. There's no difference. There's no days off.
5-2, 5-2, 5-2. My
Yeah.
pattern.
I feel like people would be stuck in a different kind of rut, and they would never find something new, grow and change, and become better, happier. I feel like we go crazy if it was the
Like
same,
people becoming a
like If we
system.
had the same day back to back, like Groundhog Day, we would go completely nuts.
I'm hating that crunch.
So I'll hit you with
We're
two
never
things.
gonna mute him.
Sure.
One of which is I always assume,
Who did I miss?
what if
Oh my
nature
God.
was
I was talking about the
granted
systematic
as
nature of living
awake
life and going to
and
work
conscious
in a systematic
know it.
way.
Mm-hmm.
People zoning out and
Why
just
they
becoming a
always do the same
robot or
4
zombie or whatever you want to call it.
every year? Why rotate the same speed?
Yeah, I wasn't listening. What
Why
were you
do the
saying?
same things every year?
No, it's like going
Always
to.
do the same
go-
I was being funny.
Yeah.
Go back, right?
What if every year, me and
Oh,
Freddie had
crunch.
the same season? You go crazy.
We've only
Why
eaten
does
in one
Earth-
episode,
why does nature
and I
tend
might have
to
crunched something in one other episode.
become
So Nick is
cyclical
about to do a
Like, why do
sacrilege
we
here.
want to break
But if you made it this
cycles and
far,
nature
you
wants
probably
to
don't care
create
about the
cycles?
sacrilege of eating during a
Is that a
podcast.
human nature thing? Do you think humans want to do? We should do different things
Silent
My
crunching.
perspective
because it's
is
good enough
different
for
on this
nature.
one.
I'm just saying, buddy. Okay.
My friend talked about eating
perspective is
popcorn
different on
in
this
movie
one. I
theaters and how he
because we
feels
have
ashamed
seasons
of
is the
making
reason we're
noise when he
alive.
eats popcorn.
We don't.
So he
Sure.
puts
If we
the
don't have
popcorn in his
seasons,
mouth
then we're
and
not gonna-
slowly closes it
we're
as
not
it
gonna
gets
have the tilt of the
soggy.
Earth, we're not gonna have the spin.
And I
we're
felt
not
so
gonna have
bad
the
for him. I was like, that's
And that's
part of
good
the
enough for
atmosphere of
nature. It keeps
eating
repeating all this
popcorn
stuff, though.
in a
It
theater.
gives time for
Is that
certain
you're
areas
allowed to make a
relax,
crunch.
certain areas to grow.
So what if us working 5 days and then 2 days vacation, 5 days, 2 days vacation for every day for the rest of our lives was better for us? How would you know?
If you were given the
Well, it
option
used
of
to be
working
that they
every
had
single
6
day of the
days work
week
and
and
1 day
retiring
off,
like
right?
50% earlier, would you do it?
Like, there's probably a period in the industrialized
No.
world where they just had every day
Uh-huh.
work.
Because youth is valuable, right?
Like I couldn't conceive of that because there's just
I'll
too
put it
much
this
to
way.
do.
If you couldn't work at all, but you would
What about,
enjoy the
like,
youth and then
early,
pay it
early?
off later.
When you had to work every day to just survive, I
You're
guess?
doing it
I
right
told
now.
you
You
the
were constantly
craziest
trying to
fucking
get
thing
food.
about
You
time
had to constantly hunt.
is that
Mhm.
it's weird because then you would think
its
of
value
life
is different.
differently because it'd probably become a
Yeah,
pastime.
yeah. So what if
you
I
would
gave
probably
someone
start
who
to
was
enjoy
22
every day because it
all
held
the
the same kind of thrill and excitement.
commodities,
But you could do it
money,
different
and
every day,
everything.
as long as you did the same end result.
Like,
Yeah.
you could gather berries one day, gather this
what if
one
I
day,
gave you the perfect life at
do this
22?
one day, hunt one day.
I wonder how many
You
of those
wouldn't
natives back
understand it.
then were
You
just like,
wouldn't
God, get me out
value
of
it.
here, please.
You wouldn't appreciate it.
I'm tired of this.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah, but
Give me a
Even if
computer.
it was perfect.
I think
You would
the
still try to go out and have
ultimate quality of
sweet
man
loving
is,
with as many women as possible. Because that's what you do at 22.
I always thought that was the scariest part of
Your sex drive is
other
going
people.
nuts.
Like crowds of people,
And
if they're bored.
as
and
slowly
tired of what
as
they're
I
doing.
age slowly,
It's
I
not that
feel
they're
like
hungry. It's not that they're
I wish I could go back to
looking
those
for, like,
times
a
because
great
like the
meaning. It's like they're
excitement
just bored.
is
They start
insane
doing
for
things
like
that don't make
a
sense.
guy
But
him,
And
you
then
couldn't go back to it right now.
as a 30-something-year-old.
Right.
No.
Try to enjoy them.
I'd have to be on my stupid self to go back to it, and then not know how to do it, and not know how to get into a real relationship and just fumble around.
Jeez. They're emo teenager animals.
Yeah. Just go off and do their own thing, and they're like, "Screw it, I'll starve. Who cares?"
You don't see that a lot.
I just watched a lot of Planet Earth, and like none of that.
Which one do you watch? Two?
Both of them. First
Did
and
you
second.
see the lizards running from the snakes?
Lizards running from
Oh
the
man,
snakes.
there's so many snakes in
Oh
that valley.
Everyone knows that,
I saw
man.
it last night or 2 nights ago.
I like how
I
you-
watched it, and I was like, and the one they all catch it, and they're like, "Oh, it's over," and then he's like, "He's free," and it's like, he's just flipping his little arms. That's one of my favorite videos.
I feel
love
like you
that
can
they
really
captured it.
feel the lizard's perspective. It's just like, oh god.
Well, did you? I think to set that up, because I just saw it 48 hours ago, was really funny because it's like all he has to do is not move.
Oh yeah, to a
These
British
snakes are
accent. Yeah, oh
notorious
yeah.
bad at vision. They can only see movement. He should just keep his calm. And there's like this moment where he's looking, and the snakes are like right in front of him.
Oh yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
like,
there's like six snakes like
He's
slowly
Yeah.
moving blindly towards it.
He dies in the
Yeah.
end, doesn't he? He doesn't.
No, he survives.
He does
he
make
jumps
it.
to the cliff. And he jumps up
He
the rocks.
survives.
And there's like the slow-mo.
3
and
verse
he's
4,
jumping up
old
the
Dan.
rocks at the last minute.
Flailing.
You're wrong.
Now they do show like 3 to 4 to 5 of his brothers that get.
Oh yeah, that's probably what I was
Yeah.
remembering.
Right. But that's a funny damn video. But anyway, I'm sorry. Yeah, none of those animals are very bored. They're very
No,
very entertaining.
they're all completely honed into the moment. It's crazy.
It's weird, but fighting for your life. and
Weird. Do
survival
animals
every
get
day
bored?
is entertainment in itself.
I think I look at apes, and apes are just sitting there like,
Probably
Well,
the
no,
snakes
no,
are probably like,
if they're in a
Time,
zoo.
they're not
I mean,
bored.
yeah, I've seen an
I mean,
ape jack off,
it
and
could
then
be like
also
you miss
pull
your
poop
chances,
out of its
like,
own
if
butthole
it
and
was
eat
that
it.
lizard, I would've saved
So I was
my
like,
life.
is that boredom? Is that what you revert
Wait
to
till
when you
after you're
get
dead.
super bored? You're just like, oh, I wonder what
I don't know, but there's a
this
lot
tastes
more.
like.
That
And
was
it's
the
just
one
like
thing in
a
Planet
nice
Earth.
long
that's
stringy
pretty cool.
piece.
Unscripted at all. Like the amount of snakes that come out of that canyon, it's like, oh my god, there's a snake around every little nook and cranny. There's like a snake coming out of it. It's like a
It's like They
nightmare.
all show up at once. They're like,
This is a snake party.
Snake
For the
party.
chicks.
Yeah, we were talking about snakes a lot.
So I kind of want to go to like the Greeks. They had Chronos,
Oh, Kronos and Kairos.
which is like the
Kairos.
quantity of time. It is like every minute, every hour, every day, every month. You can quantify it. And
The
then they have Kairos,
quantity and
which
quality of
has
time.
special meaning, which is about perceiving time and deciding that you need to do
More with it.
act upon it. Like it's not that time is acted upon you; it's that you're deciding what to do with your time and making yourself better because of it. The time
for
to
the
act.
rest of your life, kind of, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it's life or like what you're doing day to day. You could decide to do something more interesting or
When
grow,
I say that, I feel like my
sort of
son is gonna watch
physical,
this episode and
mental decision.
like take that message with him. Do you get that ever?
Yeah, I don't know if you want to divert.
Never. Not gonna
what
watch it ever.
Kairos was for
Well,
us.
no.
I don't know if that's too personal.
You'd save it because once I
think
start, I'll
it's
start saying
more-
everything and
Yeah, there's a lot to it.
They've taken the whole episode. They've taken the whole
what
mantra, the whole feel.
Jenkins,
He really
he,
hates
And then they
what he told everyone it was. It just holds you down.
I'm gonna get chips, and a year from now, I'll be like, you'll be talking and be like, "Can I get some chips?" And be like,
Is it last chip?
"Do you mind if I pop some popcorn?"
Now people are gonna be confused about what we're talking about. They used to say there was like, it feels like almost like an intervention, but with like 30 of your classmates.
Were you in the early?
I haven't told my coworkers that I have a podcast yet. I'm debating
Don't
whether.
tell them now. Don't tell them now.
Oh my god, that's crunchy.
And I'll cycle through like maybe once a month. No, it has to be quicker than that. Every 2 weeks, they must have a Kairos, where we all try to like find each other or something, figure ourselves out. But it was like a secret.
Catholic schools have this.
Really?
You know, it's a little bit of a brainwash too. The music they play and like the way they approach things. They're just like, it's fine.
I thought it was
just share. You know,
now,
it's a sharing environment, and I'm gonna play Enya.
Do you know what
they
marked
do
down
on
for?
these events?
What was that?
But, like,
I was marked down.
I think they call them religious.
You were
retreats.
marked
Lansdale
down?
Catholic had one, I think.
Yeah, it was the first one.
Personally, I think they should
step
just
up
let
and
you like
break
live
the
out in
mold.
a college dorm for like.
What the hell does that mean?
Like that would
I
have the
think
same.
the same results.
Yeah.
I was the
You'd
first
start bonding with people, you'd be
non-Kairos
like, I don't
person
even
to
know
go up
who
and
you are,
hug
but
whoever
now you're
was
awesome.
telling a story.
You're so right.
Just put some hash. on
You
the
told a
table
story
and
without being
let's
a
just
previous
play some guitar.
Kairosian.
Oh yeah.
Other way
I
around.
think that's the feeling.
They told a
The
story, and I
feeling
was
is
the first
definitely
person to
feel
go up and hug him who
really
wasn't.
fine, like,
Oh.
Which doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, that's.
Doesn't allow you the time to take a break.
Was that
soak it
genuine?
up, and make a Kairos
Doesn't
decision.
allow it. Time doesn't allow
Both.
it.
It was.
Like it was like.
Well,
You're perceiving
you know
yourself
why,
as the third person.
time always goes
A
Press
little
X
bit.
to pay
Push
respects.
Push it backwards or
Yeah.
it goes up or down.
I don't know. I've been doing a
good.
lot of programming lately, and the way they keep time is from the.
What was the
clock,
story?
Press X.
Which is like the 1970s. They do milliseconds.
think it
from
was
the
actually,
1970s. So every equation that you do reverts back to like when.
I remember mine was Rob
Yeah.
had
So
a sibling who had Down syndrome,
time
and
I
he
do
told the
something,
story
I just
about
notice
that
time
Down
grows, and I
syndrome
have to decide
sibling.
Whether
and at the end of it, you're just like, that's
everything
terrible.
or
Like,
not.
no one wants to live life that way, but you have to love that person,
How many milliseconds are we from the
and you
epoch?
can't feel like
oh, I
you
have
know,
to look up.
Who
ashamed
was
of
the
them.
first
But I
person
mean,
to go up
you
and
can
hug?
copy and paste it
That
or
was the
something
name.
every time, or does it not?
I'm
show
not
up
an
ever, or you don't
initiator.
deal with
I'm
it, you
also
just
not
type in
an
epoch
awareness
and
of
it does the work for
initiators.
you,
I
or
just
what?
kind of
It's part of every
things happen.
every computer that you.
But I'm genuine
run,
about it.
It's measuring time from that.
Right, sure, and that's why 2K
I mean, if
was
it's
going to
like,
be
hey,
a problem.
I'll give you a
because,
hug.
some
Here,
computers
pal.
weren't programmed for 4 digits in the year, right? Is that why?
Yeah. and
So what
then
was the
I
story?
getting Confused which
Remember
days
the
you were
story?
on.
Go back, right.
Yeah, which was almost a
It's okay,
hoax
no one will
until
follow
you,
along with
like,
what we're
start
talking about
researching
anyway.
the companies that went under because they
I
couldn't
agree.
reprogram their code.
Our we bought computers like in '97
Computers.
Uh-huh.
to our company, and they all died.
So we're about
all your
1.5
computers
trillion
died?
milliseconds from the epoch.
Because of
Oh,
Y2K?
People say epoch, but I don't like
The
to,
ones that A&E did.
Syllabicize.
Wow.
You just did.
I think you're the
guess.
only person ever to say that a Y2K computer actually affected them.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's
100%.
crazy. It's crazy to think about that measure of time will go on. And,
All of them?
When will that measure of time die?
We only had like 3 or 4,
I'm gonna have to search that one.
all running on the same
It's gonna take a
program.
while
So
to
yes.
Fill the dead
Yes.
silence
You
of
did.
typing.
I will. The reason
You
time
didn't prepare
moves
for
forward
Y2K.
in perception and everything
Oh,
else
who
is
did?
entropy.
Who did?
You know?
Everyone else.
So they're trying to measure when things will exhaust or something like that, right?
A little bit.
Let's do a projection. Like in a year, where do you want to be? This is like a bury your capsule in the sand type of thing. Unearthed in a year.
So that things
It's all buried in the
aren't
sand.
created as much as they are.
When I'm dead, I don't
Does that make
care.
sense? Like the universe
Like,
is headed
I think
towards
what I
one
give
big
is
mix
You
of
better not
pretty
die.
good
Heat
insight.
death of the
much
universe.
colder.
Everything becomes the same.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Because
When
space is
it's
going to mix
over?
with planets, is going to mix with this. Like all these molecules that we talk about, like we make a planet here, and we have this here, energy here, we
Wait.
have this here, we got
Let's get you a new job, make
forces
more
here,
money.
Sparks are here, gas
You can
is
have
here,
bigger
this all here.
balls.
But eventually,
You
it
can get
all just
injections to make them
goes
bigger.
in time,
You know,
all
whatever you
spread out,
whatever you
all these
need.
molecules
Whatever you
go
need,
wherever,
Nick.
And now we got just one big, huge thing.
Do you think anyone
that's
would say anything if your
vibrating at
balls
1
were like
degree
4 or
Celsius,
5 times
and
bigger? Like it'd be like a woman's breast, but like they'd be in the way of things.
Life whatsoever.
Like your pants would have a special sack for them.
Hey, I love this phone bird.
Yeah.
These balls are huge.
5,000.
What was that? Oh my God, Becky! Look at his balls. Could they fire you over, sir? Your balls are way too large for a natural human being. These are how they grew.
But if you
after I injected them with some serum.
The timeline of the far future.
Chinua Achebe.
Things you can
Chinua Achebe.
I think that's Things Fall Apart.
Things Fall Apart. Chinua Achebe.
Technology and culture. Astronomical
Bumblebee tuna.
Timeline of what they predict will happen.
Bumblebee tuna.
With fairly certainty, nothing like specific. What will happen and what year it will happen. Like for instance, 10,000 years from now, the red supergiant Antares.
Do you think it'd be more natural to have like balls that were just larger? Like if your balls filled out your sack,
pretty sure, and
would the skin become smooth all of a sudden?
With visible, yeah, cool. 25,000 years.
No, not at all. You don't believe? You don't attest to that theory?
They figure within 50,000, could be 25 to 50,000 years.
We should really have ball protectors, though, shouldn't we? It's getting kicked in the balls.
Cycle happen. Cool. I don't know. Like, some of these are really cool. Like, oh, check this one out. 100,000 years, native North American earthworms, such as mega whatever, spread north.
I think you're coming back. I think you are. I have faith.
Border. Recovering from laurentide ice sheet glaciation, which I guess happened during the Ice Age. Chased them all south. Like they wouldn't grow north of a certain spot in America, but with
about 15 minutes
going up. And this is assuming a migration rate of 10 meters per year.
A slow precession northward because of the recession.
Did I mention that unit of measurement based on glaciation?
It's just a cool list.
It's like a Bovnov unit.
And you're really cool. Like check this one out. 250,000 years. Low heat.
You're talking about the end of
the youngest volcano in the Hawaiian Emperor Seamount chain will finally rise above the ocean and make a new island for Hawaii.
Oh, shit.
Those are the types of things you would see if you were not restricted to 100 years. You live like thousands of years.
Correct. I don't know if they're cyclical or like you notice anything, but they would be cool to see, I guess. I'm trying to find a real badass one.
We'll go back
1 million years, Earth will likely have undergone a super volcanic eruption large enough to erupt 32,000 kilometers to the third volume of magma, an event comparable to the Toba super eruption.
Oh, Toba.
Oh, well.
Betelgeuse, the star we referenced earlier.
Oh, wow.
1 million years, guys.
You said Betelgeuse?
I did say Betelgeuse. I mean, Betelgeuse the star.
Okay.
Betelgeuse. It will explode in a supernova. Check this one out. The explosion is expected to be visible in daylight. That's pretty cool.
That's scary because, like, I feel like so many people will look up at it and just sear their retinas.
Well, no, I mean, because the explosion probably lasts like months. I think it's just gonna like look like an exploded thing in the sky that you can see during daylight.
That'd be so crazy if like everything was washed out with sunlight and you just couldn't even like, you'd be like for like years you couldn't even see. Like, I hate this Beetlejuice.
I will say that that's an interesting thing that we never ever thought. Like,
so I was talking about the epoch.
I never thought about since.
And milliseconds.
And you're about to spill some secrets because you're falling asleep.
Used a
but
32-bit integer, which it's programmed.
If light was just brighter for like a year, and everyone was just like, oh god,
2038,
like that would be completely change everyone's perspective.
Program what they did.
Really? Because it's so would they have to go to 64-bit?
Yeah, so they have to go to Y238.
Wait, is that what it's called? Y238?
No, but I just named it that.
Pretty cool. Yo, UnPanderers, Y238.
What's it called?
Yeah.
Y238.
In the future, and we're talking about like Beetlejuice, and you can see it in the sky. Shout out these guys.
Is that the year? When was Beetlejuice supposed to explode?
Send it to our heirs, which will have.
No, I don't care about them. Honestly, let them work for it. Send it to us. Go back in time.
You know, time to decide so that you can go back in the future and give it to us right now. when the time travel was invented.
So, do you want to talk about time dilation at all?
We could. I don't know.
My favorite thing about time. Which
Go ahead.
Funks me up big time.
Good. Go.
So, anyone who's seen Interstellar, starring Matthew McConaughey, big fan of the project.
This is gonna piss me off.
Why?
I hate that movie. Go.
I thought it was alright. It tackled one of my favorite things.
Would this be a very, very bright star when it explodes? It won't be like a second sun.
At a certain speed, time passes differently for you than someone else at a standing reference point, or reference point slower than your own.
So this is one
10 times the distance away to actually cause us to have a second sun.
This is probably the exact reason it drives you nuts.
Won't harm
this
us.
Is probably true, but the faster you move,
It is true. They put atomic clocks in
Clops.
spaceships that go around the Earth, and they have different numbers than the ones that sit here on the surface of the Earth.
I believe that's true. But the atomic clocks are traveling so fast that the vibration has to.
I feel like you want to skip to the end, Nick.
Than the clocks on the ground.
Sure, I don't care why.
Was that a yes?
What I'm getting at is that time will pass differently. I don't
See
know
how we
about
ended
if
this.
you in
Go to the
space,
last
come
2
back,
minutes.
Your
Last
grandmother,
minute.
and
I don't
you're
know
older
about
than
that.
whatever. I'm not gonna argue with you.
Our measurements of time will become slower.
There we go.
Ooh.
Go in the last minute here.
You're never gonna get away.
You can't even get like a job in like a small town in Nowheresville anymore. You know what I mean? Times they are a changing.
You definitely had more vibrance back then, Nick.
Talking about
I did. I literally went more up and down. I agree.
Thanks for listening. We are the UnPanderers.
What happened to you?
We got a lot of socials. We got a lot of places you can donate money to.
You need a new job.
Headphones.
You need to make better money so you can take it easy. Recoup your energy.
Well, I mean, I had this money.
Become vital again. Get your vitality back. You need a talisman.
That's a good episode. I like the talisman. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
We like it.
We like it a lot.
We do like you.
Tinkerty tank.
Tinkerty tonk.
Tinkery talk.
Tinkerty tonk.
Have a good night.
Ba-doop. Boo. Wow.
We did good?
I don't know. Somebody couldn't hold it together for the whole episode. I guess you can't see. Can you see? No, you can't.
No, not at all. Oh.
You good now?
Oh, still.
That's okay. Just me. You can go to sleep now, Nick. Don't die on me in the next year.
I gotta take him to school tomorrow.
And then you get to sleep? Are you gonna sleep it? Soon? Are you gonna... I do notice that they're like... Personal story. My son is waking up quite a bit in the middle of the night multiple times and destroying my consistent sleep. And when I do actually get to sleep for like an extended period of time, like 4 or more hours in a block without someone bothering me or waking me up, I feel different and it feels weird. You're like finally like, whoa, like this isn't how you're supposed to feel every day. And you look around and you're just like, I can actually like, I feel receptive and things make sense and
suddenly sharp and like poignant and
that sort of shit doesn't happen for like, I mean, it doesn't happen when the baby's born for about 6 months, and then 6 months to like 9 months, you're like, you can sleep like that because for some reason they sleep really well, and then after 9 months they fuck all your shit up and they just don't let go until much later in life, and then responsibilities take charge, and then you have to do a whole bunch of shit that is just tedious. Love my family, but it's tedious shit. So I could see it in your eyes that you need to fucking sleep. And you need to fucking sleep like a whole fucking lot.
This is my 6th day of work in a row.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's my first day off ever.
You're going back to like the 1800s. Go work in a mine. Go carve some coal out of the earth. Go shake hands with the devil. Get the black lung and say, fuck cancer, I'm going to live until I'm 60.
I agree.
Get some new lungs so I can breathe this fresh air and go out and party.
Alright.
Hopefully you just beat yourself.
Catch you on the flip side.
Alright, Nick. We're going to say goodbye. After... Oh. It's double me. He's about to pass out. He's got to wake himself up.